Hi there, I'm Lori, aka a Jazzy Cat.
Jazzy James here.
And today we are doing episode number 2.
All about the VIP.
So welcome to Jazzy Cat's Music Box. And yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about the VIP experience and even more so, more in depth about the sort of meet and greet part of a VIP experience.
Yes.
But a little recap, we talked a little bit in the first video, the last video, about the types of VIP experiences. So let's recap. What types of VIP experiences are there?
Well, sometimes you just get a merchandise VIP where you get something exclusive that you can't get at the merch booth. Right. If there's even a merch booth nowadays.
There's typically a merch booth.
Sometimes.
There's a few exceptions. It's usually a logistical error on somebody's part. Like, oh, it's the 4th show and now we have merch.
Yep. You could get a seat upgrade VIP.
Okay.
Right? So that way, a lot of times they'll have an exclusive section just for VIP members.
Exactly. Sometimes you get some additional perks with that. Like, maybe you get, a different restroom access or a different bar access. That's a cool thing that sometimes you get
Definitely get early
with
entry
those
kind of thing.
Early entry. Especially important when you go to an SRO show. SRO.
Standing room only.
Not a fan of standing room only shows. I don't think anybody over the age of 25 loves a standing room only show.
They might, so they go love and then kind of like it. And then they're like, I'm only doing this because I really, 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 really
that's
this
the one.
artist.
We've done a couple of them, and you know what? They're a lot. They're a lot.
Yeah.
I love to stand during a show in general, but like I want the option to sit maybe during like the slow song, but and before the artist gets there.
And then the ultimate
pinnacle
meet and greet.
Yes.
Experience.
Yes. So be prepared when you go to a VIP experience. You're probably going to spend a few hours in waiting time.
Oh, well, because that's one of the things is early access, but you got to get extra early access to get the extra early access.
Because the artist needs time to like decompress after these things, and a lot of them happen before shows. And so a lot of times what you're doing is interacting with the artist in some capacity, and it will happen, 2 hours before the show, 3 hours before the show. So you got to be there a long time, a lot of waiting.
And sometimes, I'm not saying it has happened, but artists can be late.
It does happen sometimes, sure. Yeah.
The tour bus hasn't arrived yet. You're there waiting.
Yeah. So that is definitely something to consider. So be comfortable, wear comfortable shoes. Sometimes you see people at these meet and greets and they're wearing heels that are this high. I mean, if it's your thing, by all means, but like it's going to be uncomfortable and you're going to be there for a long time just waiting.
Then the moment has come, you finally get to your section where you're going to meet the artist.
Yes.
Okay. What are some rules or tidbits of information that everybody should follow?
Yeah. So
make it a better experience.
So consider this. First of all, don't be an asshole. Okay.
I don't know if you can say that.
I said it.
Okay. You did it.
I did it.
You did it. I mean, it's your podcast.
This isn't a children's show, but I feel like I'm not looking at the camera. It's over here, right?
Yes.
Okay. Like, which side am I looking at? We're on a different camera than usual. So, with that, there's a couple of things to consider, and that is, what are the rules? Sometimes the promoters will put together some rules that you have to follow. And one of those things is be respectful of the artist. Be respectful of the promoters. They've got a lot of work to do. It is not an easy task to put all of this together. So be really respectful of them and their process.
Another thing you want to do is definitely be respectful of everybody's time, right? It's that they have a bunch of people that they have to get through.
Yes.
And then everybody else paid for this experience. You've paid for it, so you don't want somebody else crunching on your time, right? And then same thing, you don't want to crunch theirs.
Yeah.
So a good way to avoid that is have your questions ready and rehearsed and practiced before you get up there to meet the artist. Because there's nothing worse than having them just like, hi. And then you spend like 10 minutes trying. They're like, it's, yes, hey. And, so you don't want that experience for yourself as well.
And keep in mind, when you have a meet and greet, you're probably going to get 30 seconds with the person. Maybe a minute, but that's pretty rare, right? Like they've got other people to get through, and so they have that process. So be prepared with something that's 20 seconds or less. So a single sentence question or a single sentence statement, so you can tell them something like why they mean to you what they mean to you. But if you don't prepare it in advance, you're going to stumble over yourself and you're going to regret it.
And then they don't want to hear your life story.
No. Even if they've impacted your entire life, they don't have time for it.
Sum it up.
This is not the time. There are times. This is not it. So be respectful of, the artist and your other VIP people who are paying for this experience. Don't tell them about how, my dog just died and my daughter's in the hospital and my this and my that and my this. That's a lot of burden to put on somebody. This is not the time. And I'm so sorry if you're going through something and you really want to share those things because it's impacting you. But it ain't it. So single statement, single phrase, single question. And if there's time, because like the line gets held up, then by all means talk away until they pull you away. But if you don't do this, you really will regret it. And I hear people saying all the time, oh man, I never know what to say. So I just walk up and I say hello. Like, that's okay. It's okay, but it's not the experience that you want to walk away from. I have the most experience with New Kids on the Block, VIPs, where you go from one guy to the next. And in that experience, I always have one thing to say to each of the guy. And I try sometimes to like link it back to a previous experience. After the New Kids cruise, I had met John in the airport. And he ended up looking for somebody who lost their wallet. It was one of the sweetest things ever and so true to John. And, so at the next VIP meet and greet that I got to see him, I'm like, hey, did you ever find that girl in the airport that you were looking for? And he's like, oh my gosh, I did find her. I had to give her wallet back. And like, it was something that it connected me to him, but it also made him remember me.
Yeah.
Because I was part of him looking for this girl. So, have something prepared.
I feel like the new kids are going to be paying to have a VIP with you soon.
They should. So with that, we get to the actual like meet and greet, and can you touch these people? Maybe.
There's usually rules laid out, or the person before, like they're a promoter or whatever, when they bring you back to the area, they'll go over certain criteria.
They will.
So if they say like, don't touch the artist, don't hug the artist, or certain things, please respect that, because you can actually ruin it for everybody else. Because they'd be like, nope, we're out of here. I'm not doing any more meet and greet,
Right. And there are certain artists that are, known to not have physical contact. Avril Lavigne back in the day was known to like, she would stand here and you would stand like, a couple of feet away. I know Chapel Roan, she sets boundaries. She doesn't like her fans. I said what I said. I said what I said. Okay.
Be decisive or,
right?
Or divisive.
Right. So, those people that have those boundaries, respect the boundaries. I have no problem with boundaries. I'll talk about Chapel Roan on another time, because
that's a whole episode for
that
itself.
Is a whole episode to itself of why I feel that way. But I have no problem with artists setting boundaries. I mean, obviously, you don't want to encroach on that, but there are artists who will give hugs. There are artists like Chris Brown will go wild in his meet and greet photos. If you look at some of these meet and greet photos on there, like, they are crazy.
So and probably not something you encourage people to search, huh? At least at work.
I mean, probably don't search it at work, but there's a lot of sort of I don't know, people jumping on backs and.
Some of them, they can be fun.
Yeah, some of them are absolutely
it's
really
nice
fun.
When artists can be silly.
But there's a lot of, interaction and a lot of, skin-to-skin contact in those.
That's a nice way to put it.
In those, they're not all raunchy or anything. They're just.
That's what you're getting at.
Well, I mean, they're wearing clothes. So
that counts.
That counts for something. Mm-hmm. But there are certainly artists who are more open to some more contact than others. Mm-hmm. For me, I always like to be respectful. There are people who are going to bring you in for a hug. Uh-huh. Donnie will always come on in here, get over here. But there are people who aren't like that. So mm-hmm. being respectful and asking, may I have a hug? I'm a big fan of a hug. Mm-hmm. I love a good hug. And so even though we went to a meet and greet not long ago, well, it mm-hmm. wasn't actually a meet and greet. It was just they come back after the show, mm-hmm. not a planned meet and greet. For Eric Hutchinson and John McLaughlin. And, not everybody was giving them hugs, but as we approached, I said, may I have a hug? And so I was able to get the hug, but I was respectful of mm-hmm. them. And if they would have said, no problem. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah. So be prepared. Oh, and don't ask for autographs unless mm-hmm. they've said that they are going to do them. We saw Kenny G. Mm-hmm. And when we were at the merch booth originally, mm-hmm. they said okay, anything that you buy, yeah, you will be able to get signed if you'd like.
But he has a strict autograph policy, and other artists may too as well.
Right.
Where
they're only signing mm-hmm. what you bought there.
I mean, it's a great way to upsell their merchandise because a lot of artists make money on their merchandise. So.
It is. But Kenny G still signed our ticket. I didn't ask. It just happened to be down on the table, and he pulled it and he signed it.
I mean, you did buy the ticket, so
technically, yeah, sure. All right. So that being said, mm-hmm.
So those are the type of paid,
yes,
VIPs,
paid meet and greets.
Okay, meet and greets.
But what about when you just encounter mm-hmm. these artists?
Out in the wild?
Out in the wild.
Or backstage?
Yeah, mostly it's going to be behind the venues, around the tour bus. Sometimes those are more accessible than other times. Mm-hmm. So, what do you expect when those things happen?
Well, I don't know. I think the biggest thing is, from an artist's point, is you really want to be respectful of their space, right? They don't want to come out of the back door and have 300 people in their face screaming,
Yeah. And it all comes down to the same things. Be respectful, mm-hmm. whether it's the artist, the other people around, because everybody wants the same thing. Mm-hmm. And the artist wants to be able to have those interactions with you. But you have to make sure that you're respectful of those so that they continue to have those interactions.
Don't
try to enter the tour bus. Don't be that person. Don't be that person that's crossing the lines and
mm-hmm. I mean, it's just a way to ruin it for everybody because they're going to be man, I had such a bad experience.
Yes.
I'm not going to do VIPs or tours, and I'll have to be hidden from one place to the next because I don't feel safe.
Don't go screaming, don't do it. Just don't do it. This is the time to be calm. Self-control. And it's not easy as a fangirl. I promise you that, but self-control goes a long way. Have your camera ready mm-hmm. In selfie mode if they're willing to take pictures, and you'll mm-hmm. see what other people are doing. You'll see if they're there. Mm-hmm.
But sometimes they'll take your camera mm-hmm. and then go up on stage or take pictures or with them, or they'll hold it for you or whatever. Yeah. Some artists are pretty good at taking pictures, I hear.
And sometimes people have a second person. Mm-hmm. They're here, they take the camera, they take the quick picture of you, and mm-hmm. you move along.
But if they have to spend 15 minutes trying to figure out your settings and unlock your password and stuff, so
just
maybe turn your screen timer set a little bit longer if it's super short.
Maybe, depending on what you see going on. But yeah, be prepared because they don't have time for it, and the other people all want that piece of their time. And if you take too long, then somebody else mm-hmm. might not have that time, and that's not cool.
So we talked about wearing the right clothes, mm-hmm. have your phone ready. You should all have a pen ready, just in case if you want an autograph.
Yeah, I mean, just in case they're willing, have a Sharpie with you, just in case. Yeah. Have it just in case. Have it just in case. Do not stalk the person. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't be that person. Just don't. And it's one thing if they're putting it out there and like they're posting pictures of like, oh, I'm here, I'm there, whatever. And that's them inviting you to say, hey, it's okay for you to come and see me and say hello. The one thing that I will say, I made some, oh gosh, what did I want to talk about here?
Well.
So when I saw Rob Thomas,
okay,
he had set the boundaries, and I don't have time for selfies, but I'll sign your ticket. So that's another thing. Like, listen to the artists. You know, if they don't have time for pictures, if they don't have time for autographs, they're willing to shake your hand. Let the artist be the leader.
Goes back to respecting the rules and what they have set up. Right? Yeah. So those are some really good tips to make your VIP experience better.
Yes.
And get the most out of it. But why is it important?
Why is it important? I was just going to ask you that.
I asked you first.
So there's so much about why an artist is important to you, right? Is it nostalgia?
Maybe you like to meet your heroes.
Maybe you like to meet your heroes. Sometimes you got to be careful with that. You know, you got to be careful with what your expectations are when it comes to that, because sometimes you can be left disappointed. Thankfully, New Kids on the Block never disappoint me.
Okay. A little biased there.
I'm definitely biased.
You know who did disappoint?
Yes.
Gavin DeGraw.
Gavin DeGraw.
And not only that, but you stopped listening to his music
for years. For years.
Like, you think I go to again, but
I do, because I really do like his music. But so we went to see Gavin DeGraw in San Antonio in 2013, and I remember this because this is where my love for Parachute started. So thanks, Gavin, because that's really what lit that. Of course, Parachute no longer is together. They are currently defunct. Maybe someday, but Will's starting some new music. But anyway, so we go and we wait outside of the venue, very respectfully, very demure. And we were there with two other girls. It was us and two other girls. That was it. There were 4 people waiting outside behind the venue, because it was a venue where like the bus is parked here and the door is here. So we waited. We got there 3 hours early, 4 hours. Like, we got there really early to try and just, you know, get a signature, get a selfie, whatever. And again, I'm totally fine with boundaries. And had their security come out and said, you know, Gavin doesn't come out, whatever, but they're like, oh yeah, maybe, you know. So we waited for a long time, and after the show we waited some more, and we didn't make it from the time that he had gotten out of the door. So like, he never came out, even though before the show there was just us and 2 other girls, and after the show there was us and maybe 4 other people. And at some point, the security guy was like, hey, I'll take your CD and get it signed. So, like, we got the signature, like, which is fine. But, like, it wasn't like you were being bombarded. And again, if there were boundaries set, like, oh, you know, Gavin doesn't come and meet people, Gavin, you know, whatever, I would have respected that more than just, like, literally you're there in your bus and, like,
we're staring out, watching people wait and not do anything. Yeah.
It was such a dick move. It really was. I didn't like that. I really didn't like that. And it really left me with a bad taste in my mouth for him. And I legitimately didn't listen to his music for 8 years. Like, a long time. And then I'm like, man, I really like this song. And I'm like, okay. Then I started listening to it on repeat again. I really do love his music, but like, I
could have came out for the autograph.
I won't go back to see him. Yeah.
So see, that can ruin that. But generally, okay, you do have VIP experience because it's something that's important to you, right?
Yeah.
So there's not, in life, it's very short, and there's not a lot of time, right?
Yes.
So this is a type of experience that you're going to remember
forever,
much more than you will if you just like go to...
Your memories will outlive the plastic in a landfill if you get this fancy lanyard.
I mean, that's probably not really true. But, you know.
Okay, the plastic will outlive me, but...
The point is, right, like, this is something that you take with you your whole life,
Yes.
right? You can go to a concert and you're like, oh, yeah, hey, I went to that show.
Mm-hmm.
But then you can go to the show, a concert, and do the VIP or the meet and greet, like, hey, I met this person. He was really a great person.
Yeah.
I learned this about this person. We got to go back and touch them. Like, I got to meet them in person. And
yeah, it makes a big difference. It really does.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you go to these experiences, you know, keep those things in mind, but be prepared. Be prepared to stand. Be comfortable. Keep in mind if is it going to be indoors or outdoors? Mm-hmm. A lot of times that wait time, even if it's an indoor show, you're going to have time outside. So be prepared with things like a poncho in case it's raining.
It randomly will start raining every time you have an experience.
I mean, it's something that's small and fits in your pocket, in your purse. Lipstick, because you're going to want the lipstick for the picture. I promise you. Guys, you're totally going to want it. Battery charger.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So like a little portable charger because you're going to be taking photos and on your phone scrolling while you're waiting. You got endless waiting.
Yeah. You're going to be doing all of that before the show ever starts. You're going to want to have that battery charger so you can still take your pictures and videos during the show.
Because you definitely don't want a dead phone when you got to do your photo op.
You don't. You don't. And again, a Sharpie. Keep a Sharpie with you when you go to the shows just in case.
Have a concert Sharpie. That's pretty good.
Yeah, have a concert Sharpie. They used to make ones that were like click pens.
They still do.
I don't ever see them anymore, but those were the best Sharpies. I love those ones because you didn't have to worry about the cap falling off. Me and caps, we have a long history.
Doesn't have a cap, it's trash.
Oh, the whole pen is trash if the cap is no longer with it. I'm sorry. I don't believe in pens without caps.
Sharpies dry out, so that makes sense. But like a big pen.
If you have a Sharpie without a cap, that's a whole different story. I can't even handle this conversation. So be prepared, be realistic, have those good expectations. Most importantly, have a good time. Let yourself get lost in the moment and the wonderment that's going on. Keep in mind that every single person that's in that line to get that VIP, those are your sisters from another mister. You know,
you have friends from VIP experiences.
I have met so many people because of these VIP experiences because they're automatically like-minded people. They're automatically people who love the same thing you do. Now their reasoning behind it may be different, and that's okay. But yeah, so
So those are some great tips and takeaways for your next VIP experience. Would you book a VIP? What VIP would you like to go see? Who would you like to meet?
If you've done VIP experiences, who have you had the best experience with? Who have you had the worst experience with?
Let us know in the comments below.
Yeah.
And make sure that you like, share, and subscribe.
And comment.
On Jazzy Cat's Music Box.
Yeah. And I posted quite a bit of video from my VIP experience and my front row action to see Joey McIntyre from New Kids on the Block the other day.
Where'd you post it?
Those videos are going to be on my AKA Jazzy Cat page.
Your Instagram?
My Instagram. But I will be posting some additional video content on the Jazzy Cat's Music Box Instagram page. So make sure you go check that out. Follow me on both of those. And listen to the podcast. It's going to be on Spotify and iHeart.
Or wherever you listen to your podcast.
Well, those are the two that we're posting on right now. So for right
I thought
now,
you posted on others.
Yeah, we're still working on that. We're still working on that. Anyway, till next time.
Bye.
Bye.